I'm here at the studios of KALW with Patsy Montgomery. Patsy is Associate Vice President for Legislative Campaigns with Planned Parenthood Mar Monte. They're based in San Jose and cover the Central California and parts of Nevada. Patsy grew up in Oklahoma without a college degree. She's been a tireless advocate for reproductive, social, and LGBT justice issues for decades. And Patsy is being recognized tonight by Flyaway Productions' 10 Women campaign. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us, Patsy.
Oh, sure. Thank you for having me here.
And Patsy was just on my radio show, Your Call, talking about the fact that demand is up at Planned Parenthood along with the attacks. So why don't we first start off by talking about the attacks on birth control?
Right. And that's happening today. That's happening right now. And there is a movement in Congress to create a refusal clause for health providers and health insurance companies related to birth control. We fought really hard to make sure that in the Affordable Care Act, birth control was considered basic preventative health care. And birth control is used for far more than preventing an unintended pregnancy. It's used for many other health issues, including prevention of ovarian cancer, as well as severe PMS issues and acne even for young women. And so, but right now, there is this battle going on where Congress wants to, and the White House is considering, expanding the refusal clause that they allow for abortion-related care to birth control, which is outrageous. We know that women whose faith traditions oppose the use of birth control and contracepting still contracept, and they contracept at the same rate as women who are not part of that faith tradition, for instance, Catholic Church. And we need to make sure every single woman lets the White House know that this is unacceptable, that women need to have, need to make sure that there is more coverage, not limited coverage. And and this is unprecedented to expand these attacks to birth control. And we're seeing the attacks happen all over the country. But this is with the Affordable Care Act. This will provide women, or if the Affordable Care Act goes forward the way it is right now, with birth control covered and included as basic preventative health care, women, whether you have a private insurance plan or a public plan purchased through the exchange, you will never, ever again have to worry about can you afford it. There will be no copay to your birth control.
Kind of like Viagra?
Well, Viagra, we know that in 1960, the birth control pill was approved by the Food and Drug Administration. And still in 2011, in most health plans around this country, it is not covered by those health plans. Women have to pay out of pocket, sometimes over $100 a month for their birth control. That's outrageous. Viagra, when it was approved in 1997, it was covered within the first week of it by most health plans in this country. And even today, when the Department of Health and Human Services said that they were going to cover birth control as basic preventative health care, along with annual exams, pap smears, and mammograms, there were political pundits who were saying, what's next? Are we going to cover manicures and pedicures? And these were women, in addition to men. And they defended. In fact, one far-right political pundit said that when he was defending his statement about continuing to fund Viagra but not fund birth control, he said that Viagra is a medical necessity, whereas birth control is a lifestyle choice.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
I heard
absolutely
a
ridiculous.
Viagra ad on an AM station last night that said, take this pill and have the best sex of your life within minutes. I mean, this is how it's sold. So who is behind the potential, who's behind the attacks on birth control?
Birth control are the Republican leaders in Congress, bottom line. That's it. And there is a movement across this country with the Republican Party in Congress currently to defund Planned Parenthood. And we know that it came down to that earlier this year, where the government came a mere hours of shutting down because the President Barack Obama refused to defund Planned Parenthood. Congress voted to defund us, but the Senate stood firm, and we had both Republican members as well as Democratic members who stood beside us. There were people who identified themselves as pro-life who said, you know what, we should be giving Planned Parenthood more money, not less, because no one does more to reduce the need for abortion than Planned Parenthood.
And you rarely hear those voices in the national media.
Right. And I believe in this upcoming year, there are going to be more and more women who are being outraged, and their male partners who are saying, this is ridiculous. And Planned Parenthood is an essential health provider to women. 1 in 5 women around this country depend upon Planned Parenthood as their only access to health care. 1 in 4 women in California. We need to make sure we protect it, that we continue to keep our doors open so that women can get the health care they need to live a long, full life. And we provide services to not just young women and women of childbearing age, but to older women and to men and to teenagers. We are an essential provider of health care to our communities, to every community we're in.
What are you seeing in Fresno? And I understand that because so many people are losing their health insurance,
Right.
a lot of women in their 40s and 50s who used Planned Parenthood as a teenager are now coming back.
They're coming back because they need their pap smears.
Right.
They need perhaps hormonal treatment as they go through a midlife issue. They need their mammograms. They need to be able to get the manual breast exams. They need to get the health care that they need so that they can stay healthy. We see at our health centers in Fresno sometimes up to 230 patients a day. At one of our health centers, 200 at another one. In Bakersfield, which is 2 hours south of us, we see about 200 patients a day. And we're going to be expanding in this upcoming year to primary care health services in Kern County because the need is so great. We have small satellite services, like at Fresno Barrios Unidos, a small community benefit organization serving Southeast Fresno. We provide on-site access to birth control, to sexually transmitted disease testing for people in that community. In Tulare County, we do the same thing at College of Sequoias. In the Bay Area, we do it, I believe, at Skyline College. And we have a health center in San Mateo. But we have health centers in communities all over the state, in some of the poorest communities of this state. The Central Valley, going from Sacramento all the way down to Kern County, has some of the poorest communities and communities that are struggling with unemployment. And we are there for them and our doors are open. But it's a challenge every single day with the California budget and reimbursement rates for safety net providers like Medi-Cal being cut another 10% off of a 1985 rate. That's challenging. So we depend upon our donors, we depend upon our patients to offset those costs with whatever they can give.
And on the show, you said the patients with the least
Often
are usually
give the most.
often give the most.
When you look at the percentage of their income that they donate, it's those people with the least. And they know they depend upon us. I remember when we built a new health center in Fresno, and this young African American woman came by and she goes, "Are you closed?" And we said, "We're getting ready to open in a couple of days." And I explained to her how she can get to the other health center we have in Fresno, and she needed to get her birth control. And but I told her, I said, this health center is going to be for you because we had this other one that had been around since 1973, old. We have our administrative site there now. But I said, this is the new one. And I looked at her, I go, "You want a sneak peek?" And she said, "Sure." And I took her through this beautiful facility. And that was through a really generous donor from the South Bay that we were able to build that. And she was just going, "I can't believe this. This is beautiful. This is amazing." I go, "And this is for you because you deserve somewhere that makes you feel good to come." And she burst into tears.
Wow.
So, I mean, we are there for women, no matter what. We're there without judgment, and we are committed to being there.
I'm here with Patsy Montgomery, Associate Vice President for Legislative Campaigns with Planned Parenthood Mar Monte. They're based in San Jose. And in part 2, we will talk about how they can counter these attacks to ensure these health services are available for everyone.